There are some stories out there that they defy belief. They push the absolute limits of what we think is humanly possible. Today, we're going to dive into one of those stories. It's a tale of survival so extreme, so unbelievable, that it still echoes today as this incredible testament to the will to live. So let's get into it. Okay, so let's set the scene. The date is October 12th, 1972. For the people on this flight, it was just supposed to be another day, a day full of excitement, of promise. But it was going to end in a way that not a single one of them could have ever imagined. So picture this, a small plane leaving Montevideo, Uruguay. On board, you've got 45 people. And it's a young crowd, It's a Uruguayan rugby team, and they're traveling with their friends, their family. The whole atmosphere is just cheerful. It's full of laughter, conversation, just this scene of vibrant life. A really stark contrast to what was just around the corner. And then, just like that, everything changes. The plane is flying over the Andes Mountains, and the weather just turns on them. Thick clouds completely swallow the aircraft. The pilot gets disoriented, and at 4,000 meters up, the plane smashes into a mountain. The impact is just violent, catastrophic. For those who survived the initial impact, the sheer horror of the crash, well, that gives way to this new, silent kind of terror. They are stranded. They are completely alone in one of the most hostile, unforgiving environments on the entire planet. The scene they wake up to is totally surreal. The plane's fuselage is literally torn in half, this metal scar on a completely endless canvas of white snow. Now, miraculously, 27 people are still alive, but they have almost nothing. A few pieces of chocolate, some bottles of wine, and basically just the clothes on their backs to protect them from this piercing, relentless cold. And the cold. Oh man, the cold is this constant, invisible enemy. Every single night, the temperatures plummet to 30 degrees below 0 Celsius. That's a cold so severe it feels like it's trying to cut right through your bones. So days start to blur into a week and then more. As their tiny supply of food runs out, the survivors are clinging to just one single hope: rescue. But that hope, it's about to be extinguished in the cruelest way you can imagine. So one of the survivors, he actually manages to get a small radio working. And huddled together, they hear the words that just seal their fate. The world has given up. The search is over. They are officially, completely on their own. That's the moment they realize, as one of them later wrote, "We have to find our own salvation." And this brings us to the most difficult, the most controversial part of their story. I mean, what do you do when starvation is literally eating you alive? When your body is failing, and you know for a fact that no one is coming for you? The survivors faced this absolutely unthinkable choice, a decision that would test the very limits of what it means to be human. They made a pact. They decided that to survive, they would have to consume the bodies of their friends who had passed away. It was a harrowing, gut-wrenching decision, but it was born not out of savagery, but out of this solemn mutual agreement. These words, they transformed a horrifying act into one of mutual sacrifice, like a final gift of life from the dead to the living. So, having made their peace with the unthinkable, they found a way to sustain themselves, to keep going. But the mountain wasn't finished with them yet. Just as they found a rhythm, a way to survive, disaster struck again, forcing them into one final desperate gamble. One night, a massive avalanche comes crashing down the mountain. It completely buries the fuselage where they were all sleeping, and it kills 8 more people instantly. Now only 19 survivors remain. It was just this brutal reminder that staying alive out here wasn't just about being strong. It was also about sheer, dumb luck. But in the face of this new, devastating loss, 2 young men, Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa, they step forward. Their resolve is just absolute. We will not die here. They decide to do what seems completely impossible, to walk out of the Andes and find help themselves. And their journey is just an epic in itself. For 10 grueling, agonizing days, they trek across the snow. After this brutal, exhausting climb, they finally reach a summit, and they're praying they'll see the green valleys of Chile. But instead, all they see is an endless sea of more snow-capped peaks. But they refuse to give up. They keep going. And then, on the 10th day, they finally see it. A person, a Chilean shepherd on a horse. The first real sign of hope in months. That one single sighting, a man across a river, it changed everything. Now, their ordeal wasn't over yet, but for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, rescue was finally within reach. Helicopters finally descend on the crash site. For the survivors back at the fuselage, that sight, the sound of those helicopters, it was a moment of just pure disbelief and this overwhelming, incredible relief. Their long nightmare was actually coming to an end. 72 days. Think about that. Over 2 months. They survived for 72 days in an environment that really should have killed them in a matter of hours. It is just a staggering, unbelievable feat of endurance. Of the 45 people who boarded that flight, full of hopes and dreams, 16 survived. 16 people who defied impossible odds and simply refused to give up. Years later, one of the survivors, Nando Parrado, reflected on their experience with these really profound words. And I think it just perfectly captures the essence of their story, a tale that exists somewhere between fate and just sheer, raw determination. So that leaves us with the ultimate question, right? What was this? Was it a miracle? Some kind of divine intervention up there in the snow? Or was it something else? A testament to the incredible, truly unbreakable power of the human will to survive? Maybe the real answer is still out there, somewhere in those silent mountains.